I'm sharing that picture with you because a lot of times in the media, the pictures that they share of black people when they're arrested or when something happens to them are pictures that make them look bad. They don't show pictures of them with their families like they do with white people when they're arrested or when they get charged for something bad. So I am making this video because this is something that matters to me, and it's something that's been bothering me lately. Bothering is a very, it's frustrated me a lot, and also like I keep thinking about back when we were in school and how this was not something that we ever talked about in the school. I mean, maybe, hopefully I'm wrong, but it was just something like Black History Month, nothing happened. Like, we never talked about Black history in your classes or as a school. And sometimes like the school, like teachers or someone would get mad at you for saying the N-word. I'm not saying all of you do say it, but the ones that did, like, teachers would tell you not to say it, but they never explained to you why you shouldn't say it. And even though I tried to, I don't think I did enough. I know I did not do enough to educate you on the racism in America. Someone messaged me and they said that racism is getting worse, but that's not true. And I think it was Will Smith who recently said it, that racism isn't getting worse, it's just getting filmed. The stuff that's happening right now, there's videos about, has been happening for a long time, since the beginning. I mean, you guys know I talked to you guys about the enslavement of African people, and that sort of violence has been going on for years and years and years and years and years. It's just that now it's getting filmed and it's getting shared around in the internet. I don't really know what I'm supposed to say in this video. I just know that I have to say these things because you guys need to know. And this is very important to me, and I hope that it's important to you, and I hope that you guys don't think like this has nothing to do with you, because it very much does. And the first thing that I want to say is that I know most of you guys, if you're my students, most of you guys are Latinos. Like, you guys come from Mexican or other Latino cultures, and we are very racist. And you are racist, and I am racist, and we are all racist. This is not something where you have to say, oh, I'm not racist, because everyone's racist. Because that's the society that we've been brought up in. We've been brought up in a society that teaches us these things, these ideas, these opinions of people that are not true and that are racist, and we grow up with them. And so we are racist because of the society that we live in, and so we have to admit that. And that just goes back to the use of the N-word, how people who are not black think that they can say it. How some of you guys say the N-word and you're like, miss, it's just a word. Miss, I'm just calling them my friends. No, I've explained to you the history of the N-word. And if you still choose to do it, you are racist. If you still choose to use that word, even though you know what it means, you are racist. And you're not trying to change it. The problem here is that we are racist, and some of us are not trying to change, and that's what we have to do. We have to be anti-racist. There is no such thing as not being racist. Everyone's racist. And we have to try and change and be anti-racist, so that when we do have racist thoughts, or we want to participate in racist things, we catch ourselves, we think about it, we process it, and we fight that. We need to be anti-racist. I'm looking at my phone because I wrote down the list that I want to talk about, and I don't want to make this too long, but I do want to cover a lot of things. And the first thing that I want to talk about is black pain, and how a lot of people don't believe it. And I've just been thinking, and I've been asking myself, and I've been trying to figure out why now? Like, why are non-black people getting angry now? Why was it that we didn't believe black people, and we didn't believe the pain and the suffering and the brutality that they were going through until we saw that video of George Floyd being murdered? Why do we have to see videos and pictures of black people being hurt or being killed in order to believe them? Because this has been happening for a very long time, like I said, and like other people have said. It's not that it's gotten worse, it's just getting filmed and shared. So why do we need to see those videos? Why do we need to see black people suffering for us to believe them? Why can't we just believe them when they tell us? And that's another thing. We should not be sharing videos of black people being in pain, of being killed. I'm not saying that we don't need to let other people know and show them what's happening, but that's not the way to do it. Other people should be able to believe us, and they should be able to believe black people when we tell them, when they tell them that they are being killed and that they are being targeted by people and that they are suffering from racism here in America. We should not have to share. Why do we have to share something so extreme in order for people to believe it? That should not be the case. We cannot share black pain in order to be believed. So stop sharing videos of black people being killed. The video of George Floyd being killed, stop sharing it. If you want to share, put something on your social media to let other people know what's going on, do it differently. But don't show him being murdered. A student sent me a message and asked me if I hate cops. And for a minute, like, my first initial response was like, no, I don't hate cops. Like, how can I hate people? Like, it's their actions that I hate. But you know what? There's this thing going around, and I read it and I was like, I feel like this sums it up perfectly. There can be 100 good cops and only 10 bad ones. But if the other 100 good cops don't say anything, don't stop the bad cops, don't arrest them, don't stop them, like, don't do anything, then there are 110 bad cops. There might be a couple police officers that do things the right way and that treat people like humans. But why don't they turn in their friends, other police officers that are abusing their power and that are racist, overly racist, and like treating black people that way? I shared some videos on Instagram, and I might include them here, of the way that the police is reacting to people protesting right now. And look at those videos, and then you ask yourself how you feel about that question. Do you hate cops? That leads me into the history of the police, the creation of the police. The police is not here to protect us. And by us, I mean Latinos, black people, other people of color. They're not here to protect us. The history of the policing system was back when enslaved Africans were freed because, like, I'm saying freed like this because it was white people who enslaved them in the first place, and freedom is not something that you can give or that anyone has the power to give or take. Their freedom was stolen. So when their freedom was given back and the enslaved black people were freed here in the United States, the white people who used to enslave them, who used to own them, they created a group of people to control those black people, to go after them, to arrest them. They were not happy with this freedom that black people were given, so they created a group of men who would make sure to keep those black people who were now free in this country, to keep them oppressed. And so the police system, the way that it works now and the way that it exists now, is not to keep us safe and to protect us. It is to make sure that the people in power, who are what? Yes, white. To make sure that the people in power stay in control, that they keep power. They're not here to protect us. They're here to make sure that we follow the rules and that we stay at the bottom and that we stay oppressed, so that the people in power, the people in control, can keep that control and can keep that power. The next thing that I want to talk is white privilege. And that doesn't mean, and this is a thing where some white people, they're like, that's not true, like, I haven't had an easier life. White privilege just means that, yes, you might have had a very rough life. Like, you might have worked very hard to be where you're at. You might have done a lot of sacrifice to get to where you're at, but your skin color was never the problem. Your skin color was never the thing that was holding you back. White privilege means that your race was never causing you a problem. That's what it means. It doesn't mean that your life, that you had it super easy and you've never had to work. It does not mean that. It just means that your skin color was not something that is making your life harder. I'm gonna insert some videos, some clips right here of white privilege, how you can see the white privilege. And this video shows how a white man with a gun, he has a loaded gun and he's just walking around the street shooting it. And yet the cops don't shoot him down the way that they would a black person. And in this video, you can hear one of the people who's standing by recording, he's shouting, if that person was black, you would have killed him already. And that is very true. You can see in the video that I will show right now, the white person with a gun just walking around shooting at the police officers. And the police officers are just waiting, following him around, but they never want to shoot him down. And yet when a black person, like George Floyd, the only reason that the police came was because he went into the store and he cashed a check, and the person inside the store thought that the check was fake, or that it was wrong, or that something was wrong with the check. So he called the officers, he called the police, and then they arrested him. He did not resist arrest. He was not fighting them. They arrested him. They put him in a car. They beat him up. They put him down on the floor. Then 3 officers put their body weight on him, one of them with his knee against his neck, not letting him breathe, and killed him. And this was all because the person at the grocery store thought that he had turned in a fake check. And yet the other man in the video that I'm about to show you, he's a white man with a gun, actually shooting at people, shooting at the officers, and not once do the officers shoot at him.
Come on, yeah, if he was black, I would have been shot that nigga, man.
They'd have been shot. I'm not fucking trying for fucking gun. Oh my God.
Yo, if he was black, I would have been shot him, man.
He up that gun, they gonna shoot him.
He did open already.
Light his ass up if he shoot.
Nah, they can still do it though.
Light his ass up.
Is he not putting the gun down?
That it's possible for some people of other cultures, of other ethnicities, to have white privilege because they look white. In the Latinx culture, we are racist. You guys have heard it before, and we've talked about this in class before, where someone might say, ay, mira qué bonito está tu bebé, está bien blanquito. Or they'll criticize Latino people based on their skin color. If there's a Latino that's darker, we make fun of them, or we say things that are offensive. If there's a Latino girl or boy, or a Latino child that is lighter skin, blue eyes, blonder, ay, qué bonito está, look how pretty they are. We say these things because we are racist and we are anti-black, and that's wrong. We need to fight that. So white privilege, even if you're not white American or white European, you can still have white passing privilege because you look white. Me, for example, you've seen me. I'm like super red. I'm like colorada. I wouldn't label myself as white, but I do have privilege because I am a lighter skinned Latina. They would probably treat me, if I went in for a job offer to apply for a job in a company or whatever, they would probably treat me differently than they would treat a Latina that is Afro-Latina, black, or just darker skin than I am. The next thing that I want to talk about is the looting and the riots that are happening right now, and how some stores are being destroyed, or they're being robbed or whatever. And I'm gonna be honest, the first time that I saw this happening, where like it happened at a Target in Minnesota or something like that, when I saw it, I was like sad. I was sad by it, because I was like, this is not the way to do things. This is not how we protest. This is not how you show that you're upset with a system. Like, this is wrong. Like, we're trying to do something good by doing something wrong, and I was not okay with it. But then I watched a video, and I'm gonna link it in the bottom because it's a really good video, where this Trevor Noah, who is like a host for like a night show, a daily show, he explained it, and he changed my perspective on it, and I saw that I was wrong and that I was speaking from a very privileged standpoint. And basically what he said is that what society is just a contract. It's an agreement. We agree to follow rules, and the people at the top, they agree to follow the rules as well. In order to have a society, you need to have 3 things, and that video, you can go to the video and you look at it, you can listen to it, because I don't remember exactly what all those 3 things were, but I remember that he said that to have a society, you need to have rules that everyone agrees with, and you need to believe, you need to trust that those rules are going to be followed and applied in a fair way. Meaning that if there's a rule that if someone kills someone, the murderer will be arrested, you have to believe that that's going to happen to everyone, no matter where they come from or who they are. So in order to have a society, I have to believe that if a white man kills a person, he is going to be arrested and charged just like any other person. And what's happening right now is that contract is not, that social contract that makes a society is not being followed by the people in power. The people in power for years have been taking advantage of that. They have been taking advantage of people at the bottom. They have been taking advantage of people of color, of black people, of indigenous people, and they've been doing whatever they want. And yet when people of color, black people or indigenous people, when they rebel or they break those rules, then they get arrested and charged. Why don't the other people get arrested and charged as well? And so that social contract has been broken. So who are we to tell the people rioting and breaking into those stores to not do that, to not break that social rule, when the police has not cared about those social rules for a very long time and has continued to attack, to harass, to beat up, and to murder black people? Why should black people follow the rules that the society has set in place to protect us when the society has not protected them? Target and other companies that are being affected, they have millions, if not billions of dollars. That store, those 2 stores, those 3 stores being destroyed are nothing to that company. That company is going to get money from the government. That company already has enough money to rebuild those stores and rebuild and get back everything that they lost. And yet black people are being murdered. Is George Floyd going to be brought back? Can the 601 black people that have been killed in Los Angeles, in our city, will those people be brought back? Target should have been speaking up about this instead of now being worried about their stores. Companies have the money. Companies have the power to cause change because they have money, and money is power. They have the power to change things, to use their platform and their company and who they are for change. But they're not doing that, and they won't do that until they are being affected, until they are losing money. They listen to the people and they're like, what can we do to not lose money? And then they will do something, because they don't really care about people. Companies don't really care about people. They care about making money. And whatever it is that they need to do to continue making money and stop losing it, they're going to do it. So basically, who are we to tell people not to loot, not to do all this stuff, when for centuries, since the beginning of this country that was built on stolen land, let me add that, how can white people and people in power and companies complain about stealing when they were the ones that stole this land? This land is not even ours. I am going to put a clip of a video by an activist, and she puts this perfectly. She explains the looting, and she explains how this violence was not black people's idea. This violence was not our idea, the protesters' idea. This violence was learned from white people and from everything that they've done over the years. They took this land through violence. They stole this land through violence. And now they tell black people, don't use violence, don't steal. So listen to this video because I think she says it perfectly.
Upon our people by the American government, institutions, and those people who are in positions of power. I don't give a damn if they burn down Target. Because Target should be on the streets with us, calling for the justice that our people deserve. Where was AutoZone at the time when Philando Castile was shot in a car, which is what they actually represent? Where were they? So if you are not coming to the people's defense, then don't challenge us when young people and other people who are frustrated and instigated by the people you pay. You are paying instigators to be among our people out there throwing rocks, breaking windows, and burning down buildings. And so young people are responding to that. They are enraged, and there's an easy way to stop it. Arrest the cops. Charge the cops. Charge all the cops. Charge them everywhere. That's the bottom line. Charge the cops. Do your job. Do what you say this country is supposed to be about, the land of the free for all. It has not been free for black people, and we are tired. Don't talk to us about looting. Y'all are the looters. America has looted black people. America looted the Native Americans when they first came here. So looting is what you do. We learned it from you. We learned violence from you. We learned violence from you. The violence was what we learned from you. So if you want us to do better, then damn it, you do better.
The last thing I want to talk about briefly, and everything that I've talked about here is nothing. This goes in so much deeper. There's so much that you guys need to know. There's so much that we all need to learn. There's so much that I still need to learn, because I don't know everything that I could. I need to do my work, and you guys need to do your work too. And that's what I'm going to talk about right now. What we should be doing as non-black people. I don't want you to think that this has nothing to do with you. You're like, oh, I'm not racist, I'm not black, I don't do racist things, I don't say racist things, this has nothing to do with me. No, this has everything to do with you, because you are part of society. You are part of the society that is doing these things to black people. You are part of the society that is doing things to other races. And we need to change. You guys say these things, and you guys need to be so careful about what you say. The N-word, I've talked to you guys about this. You're probably like, oh, again with the N-word. Don't say it. If you choose to continue saying it, even though you know the history of pain and the violence and why white people invented that word, don't use it. And if you know all this and you still choose to say it, you are racist. You cannot say you are not racist just because you're not killing black people. Your words are offensive. You don't say that word. You don't say racist jokes. Your friend says the N-word. Your friend says a racist joke and you laugh, or you don't even say anything. Even if you don't laugh, you just don't say anything. You don't correct them. You are racist, and you are enabling that racism. You are helping it continue. When you choose to be quiet about these things, about this situation, when you choose to be quiet and not speak up about how this is racist or this is unfair, you are going on the side of the oppressor. You are going on the side of the white people. You are going on the side of racism for not speaking up. Even if it's your friend, doesn't matter. You are choosing the side of the oppressor. You're choosing the side of racism when you don't speak up. Like I said earlier, Latinos, us as Latinos, our culture is very racist. It's very anti-black. We hear it in the way that people talk, the things that people say. And we have to change. It's very sad to hear these things being said by Latinos. We need to fight for black people. We need to change this. This is not right. just because we are not directly affected, just because we are not black, just because we do not have a black family member that was killed, just because we are not directly affected, does not mean that this is not on us to change and to do something about it. You guys know, Latinos know, that racism does affect us. The way that the president talks about Latinos, the way that the other people talk about Latinos, the offensive things that they say about Latinos. That does not compare to the pain and injustice and suffering that black people have had to go through for centuries since their enslavement. And we need to change. You guys, you, me, everyone, all Latinos need to be anti-racist. And we need to speak up about it too. You hear someone in your family say something racist, call them out on it. You hear your friend say something racist, call them out on it. Do the work. Look up information about Black Lives Matter. Look up information about Black history in the United States. Do your research. Learn. There's so much more that needs to be said and that needs to be learned by me. But I am going to make this promise, and that is to speak up about it more in my class. That is my platform. As a teacher, I am given that platform and I am given that responsibility where I share the knowledge with you guys. We share the knowledge. You as my students, me as a teacher, we share the knowledge. I am not the person that holds all the knowledge. I do know some things that you might not, because I'm older, because I've read some books, I've listened to some people speak. Because of my experiences, I might know more than you. We all share knowledge. You know things that I don't know. We know things already. I am not any more important than you. But because I am a teacher, I am given that platform. I am given that space to speak and to teach. And I promise that I'm going to speak up about this a lot more. Because I did not speak up about this enough last year, in the time that we've had this last year. And I do regret it. I was worried that someone would think that I was wasting time by talking about this instead of doing, following the schedule that I'm supposed to follow as the English teacher. I was worried that that might affect my job, or that might affect what other people thought about me, but I really don't care anymore, because Black people are dying. And it's sad to say, but Black people will continue dying unless we become more educated and we work for the change. And how can we change the way that things are if we don't learn, if we don't educate ourselves about the way that they are right now and about the things that we can do? And I hope you guys, 7th graders who are listening to this right now, and you're going to have me as your teacher next year. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. You're going to have me as your teacher next year. I hope that when I talk about these situations, I hope that when I talk about racism, I hope that when I talk about Black history, when I talk about any of these things, you don't complain. Because this is not meant to be fun. When we did our Fun Fridays, and I would sometimes talk about, when I talked about Martin Luther King and all of that, and you guys were like, ugh, like it's supposed to be Fun Friday. But this is more important to me. Learning with you guys, sharing the knowledge on how we, including myself, me and you guys as my students, how we can be better at being anti-racist is a lot more important to me than anything else. You guys are living in this society, and eventually I'm gonna die. People older than me, we're all gonna die. And you guys are gonna be responsible for a society. I don't know what society we're gonna end up giving you. I don't know if it's gonna get better by then. I don't know if it's gonna get worse. But you, it sounds super cliche, it sounds corny, but you guys are the future. You guys are the future of the society. And I refuse to be a reason why you all grew up, got older, and did not learn about the racism in this country. I am not saying that I'm the only one teaching you this, because I hope I am not the only one teaching you this, and I hope you continue to learn about this. But I want to be someone that you can go to if you have questions, so that we can learn together. I want to be someone who just gives you a space to talk about this, because this is so important, and it's so frustrating that this is not learned in school. It's just so frustrating to me. Why do we learn about the history of the United States, but like only the white side? Why are most of the books that we are given to read in schools, why are most of them by white people? And I don't want to be part of that, because that's not what you deserve. You deserve to know the truth, and you deserve to be educated, and you deserve to learn, and you deserve to know how things are. And then it's going to be your responsibility. It is your responsibility to use what you learn and what you know to make this place better. Down in the description box thingy, I'm going to put links to some videos that I think are worth watching and are helpful. I'm also going to put some books that I think are helpful as well. If you're interested, I have this book. That's really good at explaining the history of both African Americans and Latinos in this country. If you're interested in this book, but I'm more than happy to send you a copy, not like an actual book copy. Actually, I could do that. If you're interested, if you want to read this book and educate yourself, learn more about the situation and why it is the way it is and how it's been for so long. If you want to read this book, let me know. Either email me or message me on my Instagram, and I will send you a copy of this book, and you can read it and we can talk about it and you can be better educated. If you guys have any questions about anything, I want you guys to feel comfortable speaking with me or asking me questions, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. I don't have all the answers, but I will try my best to give you a point of direction if I don't know. But yeah, just let me know. This is really frustrating. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know and I will answer them. Please check out the description box. I put some helpful info. And again, if you want to read this book, message me or email me and I will send you a copy of this book to read. Okay, take care. Be anti-racist. I'm talking to you. I'm watching this right now. Be anti-racist. Be better.